Easy Shockwaves VFX for Unity is a free asset pack that will allow you to create these types of elegant, stylized shockwaves for your projects that include chromatic aberrations, distortions, and it's got a lot of parameters already set for you to be able to drag and drop or just spawn straight away an instance of those shockwaves without you having to dive into the particle systems at all. You can check out all the effects here in the overview scene. Here you can see a quick preview of all the colors in the rainbow plus black and white shockwaves. I think the most popular shockwaves are these lavender colored ones, or maybe the purple ones even, but all the other ones also look pretty amazing. The distortion is also separate from the main shockwave, so you can have just the shockwave or just the distortion separately in case you might need to use those in a mobile or any other low-end platform that doesn't support distortions. That's perfectly fine. You can just use the normal one and it should work straight away. If you dive into the prefab, you'll find out that there's just one shockwave particle system that spawns a mesh, and it's using this material here with those textures. While it's true that it could be a bit more optimized, we wanted to give you the best customization possible, and then you can subtract what you don't need at the end of the project when you need to optimize everything. You could pack multiple noise textures into one texture and select that one texture. If you don't know how to pack noise textures into an RGB selector thing, feel free to check out the tutorial that we have in our YouTube channel. To change the parameters, you can access the Shockwave game object, access the particle system component, check out the custom data module, and inside here you'll find the chromatic aberration, custom offset pan, noise multiply, emissiveness, desaturate, and erosion. So if we tweak the erosion, you'll see that the shockwave is eroding now, like so. You can animate that parameter quickly by clicking this drop-down arrow here and then clicking on curve, and then you'll be able to just edit the curve to your liking, so it will animate over the particle lifetime. So things such as the chromatic aberration can be tweaked either using a curve, so it will animate the chromatic aberration during the lifetime. For example, let's say you want chromatic aberration to happen at the beginning but not here at the middle of the lifetime. You can access this playback time and you'll find out that there's chromatic aberration happening there, like so. You can see the blue and orange colors happening, but as the playback advances, it's getting desaturated and it's just purely black and white. So it's super easy to configure. The same thing happens with the custom offset pan, which is like the in to out shockwave rhythm. And then you've got the noise multiply, which will in essence make it so it's more like a radial type of wave, or the noise is breaking down the shape and it's super noisy. You can also animate that using a curve or just setting the number up here. And then you can also access the emissiveness and make it super emissive at the beginning. For example, you can see the emission being cranked up right there, or you can set this to be 0, for example. So yeah, it's just black. You can set it maybe to 1, and it's got some emission to it, but not a lot. And yeah, you can play with the parameters, and also if you want, you can set this to constant and just set the number, and it will have the same emission all the time, which is pretty neat. All right, so that's the bare basics of it. And then if you want to do some more stuff like changing the colors, you can change the color over the lifetime, which is a nice addition to it. So maybe at the beginning you want it to be more like pink and then become red. So at the beginning it would be white to pink to saturated red, or maybe rainbow type of of shockwave, which is pretty great also. And in those cases, you'll find out that the chromatic aberration is acting a bit weird. That's why I like to just set this to 0. And it's a bit better right now. It's more like stylized in that sense. And you can change or, make it more or less transparent. You can use a random between the colors and set the alpha to be lower. So it's gonna pick a random opacity. So it's up to you. It's up to your liking. And then again, you can do some more stuff with it. For example, let's say we want this to be white again. Without using chromatic aberration, you'll find out that there's a desaturate parameter here. And that's just due to the fact that you can change this base texture and make it any other texture you might want. So for example, let me change this base texture to any other texture, for example, this noise packed. And now you can see it's got some yellow colors, some red colors, some purple or green colors, maybe even this one, or maybe some other crazy color texture, like a galaxy type of texture, that would fit the theme of your shockwave itself. That's great. You might want to use that, but you can also desaturate it during its lifetime. So for example, let's say we want the colors to happen at the beginning, but not at the end. So you would edit it like that, and it would lose the saturation values. So like that, at the end it's just black and white, which is a nice effect that you can transform maybe a galaxy type of shockwave into another color over lifetime type of color shockwave. Also keep in mind that this color is gonna be actually multiplying by the one beneath it. So if you're multiplying like maybe like a blue color with red, it's gonna become this purple color. So you might want to desaturate, so it gives more like a flat color effect, and it's got still the texture to it. Now that the bare basics have been covered, let me show you some other cool stuff that's in the pack. So for example, you'll have the VFX Shockwave Vertical, which is essentially like the same, but it's like the shockwave is falling from the sky. You can tweak that so it's more like it's coming from beneath and going upwards. It will work either way. So you can, for example, pause that and then rotate that like that, and then make it go up and place it on top of a character, for example. And then it can look like something is going out from the character, like so, right? I don't know what it could be, maybe a level up type of thing. But if you invert that, maybe let's use this big one here. You see that it is like the character has just teleported or arrived into the scene. That's just a mesh that's creating this texture and making it pan downwards, and that's the effect that you're achieving. You can substitute this mesh for any other type of custom mesh you'd want to have, but please check the UVs for that because they need to be specific. They need to start up here and then go to the bottom there in a cylindrical manner. So yeah, that's the type of mesh that's being used there. And then you've got this other mesh. This is super high quality. There's also like the lower quality of it, so it's more optimized for lower end devices, such as this one also, for example. And yeah, that's mostly how the meshes are living inside the particle systems and how they're being used. Then keep in mind that you also have the vertical distortions, because distortions are separate. So let's grab this distortion here, make it so it's coming from there, and then wait, it was the big one, right? Yeah, so let's place it here, and then I'll also activate this one. So now you can see the distortion and the colored one happening at the same spot. And it's pretty cool. You can see like the effects that's, yeah, it's like an invisibility cloak from Harry Potter or something. But it's pretty neat, right? And then you can change the colors on your own and change easily the lifetime here. So for example, let's say you want this to like be much quicker. So you could adjust this lifetime to any type of parameter you want. 0.3, for example, it's super, super quick, maybe 3 seconds. So it's coming in slow and then fading out slowly, which is also feels pretty great. And that's the basis of it, really. It's not that much complex. If you want to change the size, you can scale the object itself. You can also scale it vertically, so that type of vertical splash will always happen from this distance. So, you know, pretty easy to control in that sense. Or you could also, instead of using the scale transform here, you could use the 3 star size, which is giving it like a random size both horizontally and vertically. So if you want to adjust that, you can set this to 5. So it's crazy right now. It's like a beam of light coming out from the sky. And that's it. That's it, really. So set this to 1. And yeah, feel free to check out any other color combinations you have around here. You can also like check, let me check if I can do this. Yeah, you can change the blending mode from this to being additive, because this is like alpha blending in that sense. You can change the SRC and DST, which is source and destination, to be 1 instead of 5 and 10, which is this other blend mode. So this will be additive. This is more accurate with what a light type of thing element would be doing in reality, because it's behaving like light. So if you make the color closer to black, you'll see that it fades away, and that's just because it's adding these. Well, I could spend a lot of time explaining how everything is working and why everything is working, but if you're interested in leveling up your VFX, shaders, tech art skills, feel free to enroll in our VFX courses, in which you'll find the link in the description and the pinned comment of this video. And so there you'll be able to learn more about all these topics, which are quite complex to grasp on, but with enough time and enough practice, you can become a master of this and get a career out of this, really. So that's how you get something that looks more like light, and it's pretty amazing, it's pretty glowy, and also keep in mind that you can use the color over a lifetime to make it like a rainbowy type of effect, or maybe like a fire type of effect. And from there, just let your imagination go free and create your very own shockwaves. So again, go ahead and download these free VFX assets right now. Hope you like it. I really enjoyed sharing all this info with you today, and see you around in our VFX journey. Right, yeah, bye.